Alright, this is the daily chart of AAPL. Um, in this video, I'm going to talk about Apple and why it's not the best investment in the market in terms of options play. It's a great investment. I mean, I've been talking about Apple. I'm probably very well known on the Apple board. I made a lot of bullish videos about Apple, but why do you want to listen to me? That's because I am that bullish in Apple, and being bullish in Apple or BlackBerry or any of these tech companies are not the best investments because there's too many negativity surrounding them all. And trust me, I've studied these companies and these stock charts. But what I've discovered is that one of the best ways to make money is knowing which stocks are really in the bullish zone and the bearish zone, and when they have favorable patterns and acting on that. So the last time I talked about Apple, there was an options trade, and it made good money. You know, there was about 200% gains in this option trade. Okay, it was on this swing over here. But since then, nothing's materialized in this. And trying to make money again in it, which I did, I actually lost money on the second option trade. Now, there were other option trades, so, and instead of losing money in this trade, I could have made more money than I made on this Apple trade. And I'm going to give you a couple examples. Now, this stock here, TAP, is a recent trade I was in, and I'm still in actually. But I removed some of my position because I locked in some nice gains, 100% gains in options, by the way. And the reason being is this company, there's not so much stigma to it. It's not followed much, right? You got 79 followers, but it had a great pattern that was set for me to break down. We have the market negative, Apple being weak. There's a lot of recipes, and I got into this stock based on all the factors. And when I got in, it went 0% against me, yet made me 100% gain within 2 days. Counting the day you enter. So I got in this day and made 100% so far on this day here, locked in already, 100% gains. Okay, and it was the easiest thing. But that's because there's not so much craziness surrounding the stock, right? So stocks like BlackBerry and Apple, they're great, but they have their moments, and then that's it. You lock in your profits, they're going to chop around. I mean, Apple, let's take a look at Apple. I can tell you the people that were trading this time frame weren't making much work. They were getting all chopped up over in February, March, and April. I even got something. So the key is to focus on what's in your favor, get a pattern, and make a ton of money in it. Now let me give you another example. Now this stock I didn't get into, HQIHU. Follow me for more great advice. But anyways, basically I tried to go long this stock, and there was some but it didn't go anywhere. The real trade was, and this was always, by the way, in the bearish zone, but at the time I had the ideas, I just wasn't looking for them. Not in the same direction that I am now. And this is what I want to show people. I want you to understand something here. According to this is not the screen that I look at, though, by the way. This is just one of my visionary line screen. This day here was a really great day to go short the stock. And, my targets would be something like 80, maybe $80, $75 a share. But this thing fell crazy amount, right? And I probably would have held a lot more, based on what I know now as well. But I never took this trade. But what I'm getting at is I was struggling to look for profitable trade in Apple. As an example, this one was so easy. Look at this. You follow what I'm getting at? This magnitude was double, triple what Apple could do because this is a smaller price stock. Well, actually, no, it's the same price stock, but Apple has not moved. The $30 down in a week and a half, in a month and a half, right? If you look at Apple, for it to it moved $30, $20, but it took 1, 2, 3, 4. It took 5 months, not a month and a half, right? Like QIHU did. So what I'm getting at is that what I believe in more in is my system, and I don't care about the companies. I say fuck the companies. All you should care about are profits in your pocket. All I'm going to look what I'm going to focus on is where is the profits. What stock's going to be profitable, and you trade that pattern, and you make a lot of money. In QIHU, believe me when I tell you, if I would have shorted this stock, I probably would have made the same amount of money I would have made going taking all the options trades in Apple combined in this trade here, I believe, with my new system and new vision and all that. So if that's interesting to you, I advise you to follow me and find out how to become a special follower, because that's the direction of my stream. I'm an Apple bull. Here's my point here, AAPL. I'm an Apple bull. Everybody knows I'm an Apple bull, or a lot of people know that I'm an Apple bull. But with my new, sometimes you get there was a movie. The guy invented, I forgot the name of the movie, but he invented the windshield wiper. And he said, he called it a flash of genius. When he thought about how to, invent that, and he tells a story, right? Probably some people will know about the movie I'm describing. I can't think of the name right now. But it's like that's what happened to me when I started looking at certain scans and then the certain visionary lines that are not present on this chart. And then I went to test, and then I went to look at it very carefully. Everything that I was done. I spent hours, and I said, "Wow, I have the perfect formula for shorting and going long stocks." I put it into a scan and I started testing this, and I said, "Look what I could have done." And I found a few good ones like QIHU, and CAT. And I talked this before about the video, but again, this was the sell signal. This was the sell signal area. Look at the directional move here. I mean, this was huge and easy, by the way. Much easier than a lot of trades like that. Much easier to short than Amazon. And actually, Amazon was horrible to go long or short Amazon. And let's put up Amazon example here. AMZN. I mean, this thing is just chopping all over the place. We fall down. They chop it back up. In a down. They gap it down. Who tried to short this? They never expected this pop, right? But this was also, in my opinion, was not well. It was not in a. This was in something I call a complex zone. It's recently gotten into the negative zone, but it's really been hard to make money in Amazon, and not as easy as something like the QIHU setup that I would look for, or the Caterpillar setup, or that TAP setup that I actually went in. I made 100% in 2 days easily. So my new focus is for looking for the setup. My point is, like certain companies, but don't focus on that. Focus on making tons of money, because you don't need Apple. Apple, you don't need to make money in Apple. You can make more money in a lot of other stocks that people don't even talk about. But that's the ones that people talk about is where you're losing. Apple is a special, case, but most stocks, when you get too involved in so many things, the Bengay, all these things that happen, and it really affects the profits you can make. You can't make. Believe me, you make a lot more money in QIHU because it goes down for that certain. It's easy. There's really not much. It's so easy for it to go against it. And this company, even for the short side, it's hard. I mean, we wouldn't want to short Apple. You want to go long when there's a good signal, and when it comes to earnings, we should be getting a good signal, but that's another topic. The point of my video here is that Apple is not the best investment to making the biggest amount of money in the market. And I can tell you, being an Apple bull, I've made a lot of money in Apple. Only one of the reasons why I ever really is my wife wouldn't go into anything else in her account that in the beginning than this company here, and we've made a boatload of money in this company on as long-term investors, because if I go to and I'll tell you why. So you see this whole this uptrend was caught all by us all the way to the top, but was also rode down but my wife's account to a certain point till I convinced her that what this thing's you got to get it out of Apple. You can't fall in love with your stocks, and of course it kept going lower, 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 right? But then that's another story. But what I can tell you people is I have the experience. I know that falling in love with your stocks, you're missing out opportunities. My eye opener happened by missing things, and then realizing that there was so much more opportunity out there. And now my as well as I've done my stream, I could have done much better had I focused in the new light that I'm in. And again, always focus. What I'm trying to do is focus on what's on your favor. You can't just look at any chart. If the chart doesn't make sense, the best thing to do, people, complicate things. Elliott waves, moving. If it doesn't make sense to you, if forget about it. And with Apple, it's been hard. In September, October. What if I had focused on the QIHU? Easy. Caterpillar was easy. That you get my drift. You had made way more money. You could hold this as a long-term investment, but if you were trying to make some extra monies with call options, you would make it. There was no money to be made. It was you lose money. I lost money. My last option trade was a loser. Thanks for listening. Like the video.